Hello, my miraculous friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. I'm Reverend Frances Faden, and I'm so grateful that we get to spend this time together helping you magnify your miracles. I want to talk to you today about something that I realize I've never really talked about, which is my journey, my entrepreneurial journey of how I went from being someone who was working 12 hours a day, working for somebody else, trying to kind of do my thing on the side, to being a multi six figure entrepreneur who has a pretty great life and is pretty happy, doing pretty well. And how did that happen? How did I go from struggle to where I am now? And most importantly, how can my story help you with your story? So I've talked a lot about my journey, my spiritual journey with Mother Mary. Mother Mary said you have never talked to them about your entrepreneurial journey and what it's been like for you because the truth of the matter is, I think a lot of people that see me now, especially if you're only getting to know me in the last 4 or 5 years, you see me here. You see me with a podcast. You see me, being able to do what I'm doing, happy, healthy, making really good money. And you might be thinking, oh well, that Reverend Frances, she's so far ahead of me. She's got it going on. But the truth of the matter is I came from my entrepreneurial journey is like I really came from a lot of struggle around work and around money. And I know that might be true for you. So I want to share what it was like for me because I think it's really important for you to know no matter where you are in your journey, no matter where you are in your journey, um, that there is a way forward and that I've walked this path. And if I can do it, I know a lot of people say, if I can do it, you can do it. But I'm telling you, if I can do it, me, who was always struggling and scrambling, you can do it too. And I'm going to share some of the key things that I did to really give you that guidance and help you see what's possible for you. So before we do that, let's take a breath. I want to take a breath together. Breathing in the energy of expansion, breathing out anything that you no longer need. And as we come into this moment, we start to feel that energy, that divine presence supporting us, knowing that whatever it is that you need to hear to help you move powerfully forward is exactly what you're going to hear. Let's take one more deep breath together in gratitude, and we can begin. All right, my friend. So I think being an entrepreneur is one of the best things you can be. And I also believe that it is a powerful spiritual path. Now, you might be saying, like, what do you mean by that? And I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean by that because I have lived in an ashram. I've been ordained as an interfaith minister. I've been walking the spiritual path pretty much my whole life. And I don't think anything has helped me, in some instances, forced me to grow and to really face my inner beliefs more than growing my business and putting myself out there and being an entrepreneur. And I think that's why a lot of people don't do it. And I have a special ministry, really. It's like you might think, well, I get emails from people saying, Reverend Frances, can I come see you in your Sunday service? And I'm like, I don't have a Sunday service. This is my service. Like, you can find me on my podcast. You can find me on YouTube. You can come and work with me. You can join our membership. But I have a special dispensation. Mother Mary asked me to work in the realm of entrepreneurs. So working with other entrepreneurs, working with light workers, working with creative people, this is my ministry. This is what I do. This is the audience that I'm here to work with. And I really believe that this is our spiritual path, growing into the best version of yourself. That's what having your own business requires of you. It doesn't require more and more and more training. It requires allowing yourself to heal and to deal with those things that are telling you you can't do it, you shouldn't do it, it's not safe to do it. And that's what I had to do. So if I go way back, I've been an entrepreneur really since I graduated from college. I always had a couple of different things that I was doing. I was working, doing, whatever job I was doing. And then back then I was doing massage therapy. So I was always doing like a combination of things. And I never gave myself the full commitment of committing to my healing practice that I had at the time. I always had something going on that was like my day job or my real job. And I was never really 100% committed to either one of those. I just had whatever job I had. And then I was doing that. And I did that for a long time and struggled a long time, just making enough, sometimes not making enough, really having a hard time with valuing making more money and really committing. And I never really committed. And I was trying to be a singer songwriter and trying to do all these different things. And, back in the day, trying to figure out how I could support myself was not easy because they didn't have want ads that said priestess wanted, prayer and ritual experience required. They didn't have that. So trying to figure out how to support myself as a priestess, which I didn't even know that I was at that time, was really challenging. I look back at myself in my 20s and I have such compassion for that part of me that was trying so hard to make her way in a world that had no lane for her. They had no lane. And I remember getting a reading, I think when I turned 30, and it was the most helpful and unhelpful reading at the same time. The lady was, whatever she was doing. And she said to me, the thing that you're going to be doing, it doesn't exist yet. I was like, oh, great. And she was right. It didn't exist yet. It didn't exist for a while. And so I was trying to figure out what to do, went to seminary, became an interfaith minister, was still trying to figure out what to do, went out to California. And I was working, I think when I first moved there, I was actually selling cars for about 6 months, if you could believe it. I've done a lot of things. I'll just say that. And then I got what I thought was my dream job, working as a massage therapist in a chiropractor's office. And I used to do like 4 or 5 massages a day, doing that 4 or 5 days a week. But I needed more money from doing that because he didn't pay very much. And I used to work in the front desk. So I would work 5 hours in the front, hour break, do 4 or 5 hours of massage. By the end of the day, it was a 12-hour day. And I was just so happy to be in a healing environment that I was like, oh, I'll just keep doing this, right? Well, what ended up happening was that person who I was working for was really emotionally angry. I'll put it that way. He's kind of a rageaholic. And at first, he would never directed it towards me, but the energy was in the office and he would just go off on people. And it created this tension. And I don't do well with that, right? So here I am working 12 hours a day. I think I was making all of $26,000 working for somebody. My stomach was in knots because you never knew when what mood he was going to be when he would come in. And then the day came where he laid into me, not about the massage part, but about the front desk part. And oh my God, I'm not going to say the things that he said to me, but they were really, really hurtful. And I was like, that's it. And I had just started seeing Deepa. We were going out for about maybe 6 months, 8 months at that point. And I called her and I was crying and I was like, I cannot work for this guy anymore. And she's like, so just quit, give your notice. Because that's how Deepa is. She's always been a success coach even before she was. She's like, you just give your notice. You don't need him. We'll figure this out. I was like, okay. And she was kind of like being my coach at that time and gave me that encouragement. And so I did. And I quit in August of 2001. And I committed to my own practice, my healing practice at that point, because I really wanted to do the messages and the energy work, not so much the massage work. And so I committed to doing that right before, that was August of 2001, right before September 11th. And even with everything that went on with September 11th, when I looked back a year later, I had replaced my income. I think I made 28,000 or something like that. But I was working like half the time. And time has always been a really important thing for me. And it's one of the reasons I had so much resistance around work is I really wanted to have free time. And once I started to see, wait a minute, I could replace this and I'm going to have more free time. I was like, then I really was like, I want to go all in. How can I, double my income? And within a year or so, I did. I doubled my income. I was making 60,000. I was going to psychic healing arts fairs. I was doing all the things. But I just had so much fear back then. I mean, I had so much fear around interacting with people. I had so much fear around asking people, Deepa would say to me, did you ask them if they want another appointment? I was like, no. She was like, you got to ask them. And I learned how to do that. I was so scared of saying to somebody, would you like another appointment? So terrified that they were going to say no or whatever it might be. But I started to learn that when people come to see you, they're wanting you to be the expert. They're wanting you to say, here's my recommendation. Would you like this? And my self-esteem at that point was so low that I was like, well, if they found it valuable, they would ask me, right? I'm looking for my clients to validate me. Oh my God, I was a mess. And so thank God, Deepa, who had this background in sales, she would say, you got to ask for the sale. You got to follow up with people. And I was like, all right. And it was so hard. It was so hard. But little by little, I learned how to do it. And once I realized, like, well, wait a minute, they need me to ask them because they don't even know to ask for the appointment. I started being more and more comfortable. And that's when my business really started to grow. And then, and then we moved to an ashram, and it was really hard to grow your business when you're around people who aren't making a lot of money and who even look down on people that are making money. It wasn't until I got out of that situation that I started really looking at what was going on and recognizing that I needed to take care of some things that were happening on the inside, because I had a lot of the things in place on the outside. I had my business set up a certain way. I had it working for me, but I kept running into a wall when it came to my finances. So a couple of things that I did. One is I did Rhonda Byrne's work, The Magic, which if you go back to like episode 2, 3, or 4, somewhere back there, it's one of the first books that I reviewed because it's a core principle of gratitude. And I did her 28-day gratitude practice. And in that month, I doubled my income. And I was like, whoa, what happened? 6 months later, I did another book, a quantum physics book. And I can't remember the name of it, but I know that I've done episodes about it. When I've done episodes around money and the books that have really helped me, that's one of the ones. And I can't remember the name of it, but I did that practice for 28 or 30 days, raised my vibration again, eliminated my cross currents and my resistance, and I doubled my income again in that month. And that's when I started going, wait a minute, 10% of this is strategy. 90% of this is energy. And I started looking at, what do I need to do to raise my energy? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? I started looking at all the books I could read on the inner game, like what do I need to do? And one of the core ones that really helped me was Overcoming Under Earning. And she says in there, Barbara Stanny says, you have to make a commitment. And when 2001 came, that's when I committed. And I said, I'm not going to do this part-time thing. I'm going to do it full-time. I'm going to put all my energy into it. And I did get trained in some marketing. Got some really good training that is still a foundation of what I do today. But it was the inner part of it that really, really helped me. And then that's the thing when I did Barbara Stanny's book and I made a commitment to myself that I was going to charge what I needed to charge and that I was going to work the way I needed to work. That's when I crossed the 6-figure mark in my business. It took me a long time to get there because I had all the inner stuff going on, all the cross currents that were blocking me from believing in myself. The number one thing to make money as an entrepreneur is you have to believe that it's possible. That's the first thing. You have to believe that it's possible. And then you have to say yes to it. You have to make that commitment. And then the universe is going to support you. It's going to start bringing you those resources. But if you keep the back door open, like, well, I'm only going to do it, I'm going to see, it's not going to work. And I did that for a long time. So then once I saw like, oh, wait a minute, here it is. And this is where it's your spiritual path. It's going to show you all the places within you where you don't value yourself, where you're not showing up 100%, where you're not being authentic, where you're giving your power away. I've done all of those things over the years. But my business was like a form of my guru. My business always showed me where I was and where I wasn't. And at the end of the day, you can't fake it, right? You're either making money or you're not making money. You either have clients or you don't have clients. You can do busy work all you want, but if you're not doing the inner game, you're going to get stuck. And that's why I started really working with people on their energy, because it's 90%. So I had to look at my energy and what could I do? And I got myself over that 6-figure mark. And then I was like, well, if I could do it now and I could double my income before, could I do it again? and I absolutely could do it again. I started looking at what is going to raise my vibration. I got around other entrepreneurs that were making six figures plus. I was hanging around people that were working on being multiple six figures, even seven figures. And I started being around those people. Why? Because I started to see it was possible. And that's really important to see that it's possible. And then what I started to do, what got me from being at that first six figures to multiple six figures, and it's going to be the opposite of what you think. I changed my coaching program to be every week to being 3 weeks on, 1 week off. I gave myself the last week of the month off every month. And it actually works better for my clients because they're able to integrate and really gives them time to like, oh, process it. So in that week that we're off, I'm taking care of myself. They're taking care of themselves. They're going back and looking to see like, okay, what came up this month and what can I integrate and how can I do this? And it gives them time to digest it all. So it's like, this actually works better for everybody. So 3 weeks on, 1 week off is such a powerful business model. So if you're a coach, I highly encourage you to do that and take that week. Some people take the week and what they do in that week is they work on creative projects or they integrate something in their business. They call it their CEO week when they're like working on growing the business. For me, it's my energy week. It's the week that I take care of my energy. Sometimes I work on things. Most of the time, I'm going out and taking care of myself. I'm going to be in nature. I'm recharging my batteries. When I recharge my batteries, I'm able to handle more and more energy. And that's when my practice just went boom and really, really grew. And so now it's like, if I have the ability, my business is such that I'm off like 12 weeks of the year because every month I have a week off. And there's some months where it's 2 weeks, right? So I have a lot of downtime, which is so important for me, not only to take care of myself, but that's really important for me psychologically is to have that free time. I get all of my downloads when I'm going out and just kind of, going for a walk or doing what I'm doing, or it gives me time to like go on a pilgrimage and really listen for that download from Mother Mary. I have to have that unstructured time. It's essential for me as an entrepreneur, right? It's been so important in my own journey as an entrepreneur. And so now I look at my business and I'm like, you know what? I'm living the dream of 20 years ago. I fulfilled my dream from 20 years ago. And now it's time to start doing like the next dream. What's that next dream going to be? And that's why I'm looking for coaches and people who can help me because trying to figure it out on my own took me a long time. It doesn't have to take you a long time. You don't have to do it on your own. So I'm just going to really encourage you. If you have a dream, if you're an entrepreneur, first of all, I think being an entrepreneur is the most important thing. It's the most powerful thing. It gives you freedom if you approach it in the right way. If you spend all your time on the 10% and the strategy and you don't deal with the 90%, which is your energy, you're going to struggle. That's what I did for a long time. I just thought if I only knew the marketing, if I only got more training, I thought that would handle the 90%. It doesn't. People get trained more and more and more, and the training is not going to make you more confident. You think it's going to. What's going to make you more confident is working with people and getting the feedback and doing the thing. That's the thing that builds your confidence. I promise you. I love getting trained. I mean, I love learning. So I'm all for it, but I see now the difference between doing more of the thing and actually taking care of what you need to take care of. If you are a spiritual entrepreneur, if you're a Reiki person, if you're a creative person, you're a writer, whatever it might be, do your 10%, figure out what you're doing, get clear about that, but then take care of your 90%. Take care of your 90%. Take care of your energy. Take care of your self-esteem, your self-worth. Now, if you're somebody who you've got a lot of anxiety about going out and really growing your business, then go get help for that anxiety. Go get some therapy, go talk to somebody, go do, body work, like whatever you need to do it. I do it. I see a therapist now. I have a therapist and a coach. I actually have a couple different coaches that I work with because I want to be free of all of that. One of the things I say is cross currents are going to stop you. So if I notice that I'm having anxiety or whatever it might be, then I go and I talk to somebody who can help me tap it out or do whatever it might be. And then I have a mindset and a manifestation coach who can help me to step into the 7-figure version of myself. I'm still trying to own that. Like, can I be that version of myself? What would that be like? 90%, my friend, 90%. Took me a long time to get where I am. I'm so grateful that I'm here. I'm so grateful that I'm here. I look back at who I was in my 20s and my 30s, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I was trying so hard. I was paddling, 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 and not getting very far because I had, I was going upstream against the current. Now I'm going with the current. Now I'm honoring my energy. And there's still more to do. I can be doing it even more. But I love doing my podcast. I love hanging out over on YouTube. I love connecting with people. I love channeling Mother Mary. I love this. And now I'm going to the next level. What is your next level? What's your next level? If you want to get help with your 90%, I would love to help you. If you're looking for that kind of help, I can help you with the 10% and the 90%. If part of your 90% is unresolved trauma, if it's a lot of, anxiety and that kind of thing, then that's not me. That is something that you need to get handled, and it's really important to do. And I absolutely honor that. But when you're ready to do the cross currents, what's going on with your energy, how can you make your business suit your energy? How can you do something that actually honors you? That's where I'm really, really good. In all humbleness, I'm really trying to say that's the thing I can help you with. If that's what you want, you can look below and you can schedule a miracle meeting with me. If you're looking for a coach, if you're looking for a mentor, if you're looking for somebody who can help you with strategizing that 10% and really clearing your energy at the 90% level so that you get to magnify your miracles and be the light in the world that we need you to be. Your business is your spiritual path. It can be. You don't have to go over here. It's going to challenge you in the best possible way. And I'm going to be rooting for you the whole time and knowing that you can do it. You can do it, my friend. And if you have a desire to be a big light in the world, that means that you have the ability to do it. I promise you that. All right, my friends. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I'd love to know if this resonates with you, if you've seen that your business as an entrepreneur is also your spiritual path, if you notice that it's really asking you to grow in amazing ways. I'd love to hear about that for you. If you know anybody that this would resonate with, please share this episode with them. I so appreciate it. And know that the key to magnifying your miracles is knowing that your miracle is already here, committing to it, saying yes to it. That's the second step. So important. And getting the support for it. Those are the big 3 things. All right, my friend. God bless you so much, and may all your miracles be magnified. Bye-bye.